Um, so one of the things that I want to do is, well, first of all, so hopefully you guys agree that the credibility is there. I have many years' experience in terms of marketing. Helped launch basically all the Hispanic marketing initiatives for TCF Bank. I launched a few initiatives for CareerBuilder.com, including some of their social media initiatives, and again with Allstate, again I managed their Spanish. There's a lot of their Latino initiatives, again incorporating more and more so the social media and online efforts. So with that said, what I wanted to do is actually present to you. I can't hand this out for legal reasons, but what I could do is at least present it to you. So if you guys could take some notes on this, that would be great. Sure. I wouldn't know where to do that. Could you lower the lights a little bit on this side so they could see the screen? I don't know where. So, but basically what I wanted to do is utilize the handbook that we utilize for social engagement, that we utilize for Allstate. I think that's a very credible source. We spend a lot of money when it comes to social media, but we also do a lot of efforts that we want to do organic, meaning we want to make it a very natural voice. So when we're talking to the consumer, we're not saying, hey, purchase us, we have this discount. We're actually talking to them as you would talk to a friend on Facebook or on a phone call or email, etc. So with that said, and at any point, we can make it very informal. At any point you have a question, feel free to ask. Okay, so in this instance, this presentation is it's very much based on social media in general. So it's not necessarily just Facebook. We do have a very robust strategy when it comes to Allstate in terms of social media. So we do utilize all of these channels that you see up there, which is Facebook, Twitter, Google+, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Pinterest. Those in particular have been the ones that worked the best for the company, primarily Facebook. There's just a lot of engagement that we get there. Twitter is great, but we haven't really seen the success that we've seen in Facebook. Pinterest? It's basically Pinterest is a social media platform where you're able to pin, I guess you could say, an image. So the whole point of it is, you create an image with a ton of text on it. For example, you're able to pin it, and then you invite friends to follow you through Pinterest. So it's almost very similar to Facebook, except you're not texting anything or placing any text. It's really just an image.
Oh, okay.
And the whole point behind it is that you're looking at the image. Best strategy behind it, of course, is to put as much text as you can on that. That's going to make sense. All right, so let's see here. Okay. So a pretty good stat here is that 98% of the U.S. adults use social networks, right? So that's a ton. I don't know if you guys have seen the stats on Facebook, but they were saying, if it was a country, it would be basically, I think it might actually be the most populated country in the world now versus other countries like Asia or but 40 again it's the fastest growing segment for social networks, meaning 45 to 54. That's kind of your strongest range, but a lot of folks are actually going on. There's a lot of folks that are now of older age that are becoming very social media savvy. They're becoming very computer savvy. In the past, you gave it about 5 years ago before Facebook actually launched. Those stats would have been way different. You probably wouldn't have seen as many people that are that computer savvy, but due to the fact that there's a lot of Facebook efforts, the social media, a lot of people started joining and started getting a little bit more involved with online. And of course, 81% of consumers indicate the friend's social media posts directly influence the purchase decision. That's the most important part of it here, is that if you folks are here for business purposes, it's put yourself in any consumer shoes or your own shoes. If you're listening to your brother, sister, friend tell you, hey, listen, I got the best deal ever. I went to this place, I went to Macy's and I purchased this makeup and it was fantastic. You're probably going to go and look at it, or at least she's probably going to influence you much more than an advertisement will. So that's the point of social media, is that it's very organic, very natural, and it's word of mouth, more importantly. All right. Let's see here. And I apologize, first of all. I did have another presentation, and for some reason I was telling, I was telling the folks here that for some reason, every time I do a presentation, I have a bad luck. First time I had a car accident. This time they stole my computer yesterday. So I had my presentation on that laptop, so I'm kind of winging it right now. So excuse me for pausing a little bit here, but I kind of know this pretty well. So some of the best practices for some of these social media platforms, and I think this is pretty cool slide. Let me see if I can fit it all in here. And I could definitely, if you guys, I have my business cards up here in front. Later on today, if you do want a copy of some of the information, I can forward you at least what I can on this presentation, but I can't hand it to you guys. But if you guys do want a copy or something like that, just after today's session, just go ahead and email me or give me a phone call, and I'll be more than glad to share any information with you. Or if you have any questions whatsoever, and after the fact, please feel free to let me know. So this is the best way to look at social media, right? So Twitter, that's the way you would actually do the message, right? It's I'm eating the hashtag donut. Facebook, I like donuts. Foursquare, that's a different platform. This is where I eat donuts, so you're kind of tagging yourself where you're at. Instagram is basically a picture, right? So when we're looking at all these elements, at Allstate, this is kind of our mentality. This is the way we're looking at how we're talking to people. So you really got to focus on how you're actually communicating with that consumer and which platform, right? So Instagram, again, here's a crappy photo of my donut. YouTube, watch me eat a donut. LinkedIn is my skills include donut eating because as you guys know, LinkedIn is more of you place your resume, it's more of a professional element. And I got to tell you guys, it does wonders. If you really want to go on there and have some really awesome networking opportunities, go to LinkedIn. Pinterest, here's a wedding cake made of donuts. Again, it's really focusing strongly on the image. Honestly, this next one, the Last FM, we really don't use it, but it's basically a radio station in this particular case. But then, of course, Google Plus. I'm a Google employee who eats donuts, and really the point of Google Plus, when you're looking at Google Plus, it's more for SEO. Google Plus competes strongly with Facebook, but the way that a lot of companies are using Google Plus is more for optimizing their website, which means since it's Google Plus, what they're trying to do is they're trying to figure out a way for people to actually have others join you or connect with them through Google Plus, saying, I want to add this person as my Google Plus friend. What that actually does, by the simple fact that you actually joined Google Plus, it actually ranks you up a little bit. So of course they're getting smart with that, saying, hey, we want to get more people to I guess in quotes what we do and through Google Plus. So that's going to raise up your rankings when you're creating a website and when you're placing it through social media, etc. All right, and we kind of discussed this. These are our social media platforms through Allstate. Again, if you're a startup business and you have not started any type of social media, my biggest advice is start with Facebook. What I would do is create accounts for every single one of these platforms. These are the strongest platforms that you could probably get out there. One that's not listed on here I believe, no, it's not. One that's not listed on here is Flickr. Flickr is actually pretty cool too because it does give you the opportunity to place images, but it also provides you the opportunity to tag them, meaning that you could place certain keywords, you could place titles over over those particular images. And of course, if somebody's doing a search within Google or any other search engine, it should pick it up if those keywords are done appropriately. But in this case, if you're just a startup business and you really want to get your foot in the door with social media, start with Facebook. I think that would be one of the best ways to start and start learning a lot of social media strategies. Twitter, in reality, it's just it is Facebook without the images, right? And it's and with limited text. But other than that, that's the beauty of Facebook is that it does give you a few more possibilities to be able to advertise and to capitalize on your consumer. Again, Google Plus, it's really good for search engine optimization. But in this case, again, if you're a startup business, what I would do is start up with Facebook, because always keep in mind, whatever you create with your business, just like anything else, anything that you create, you got to maintain, right? So if you have Facebook, Twitter, then you're going to have to maintain Facebook and Twitter. So just keep that in the back of your minds. because it is a lot of work. Yes, ma'am.
Isn't there software that allows you to watch both or something?
There is, yeah, there is some social media software out there that that does do that. We utilize one called Kapost. That's one of them. It's Kapost. So what that one does, it actually allows you to kind of schedule your postings, schedule a lot of other elements that are associated with social media, which in particular is Twitter, Facebook, and I want to say those are the two main ones in those particular cases, but it might even link with LinkedIn.
How do you spell it?
Kapost, it's Kapost, but there is a ton others, and there's some that are free as well. I'm trying to think of the name of the other one that we've utilized that's a free service. Hootsuite's another one, yes. Hootsuite's a good one. Hootsuite, it's Hootsuite. So yeah, Hootsuite's pretty cool. That's again, they're basically the same platforms. And if you guys do a search, honestly, for on Google, just to do social media management or something to that effect, you'll see a ton of others that are listed on there. But there's quite a few. There's quite a few out there. All right. So for Facebook, so here's some of the best practices that we utilize. I know that's a little bit hard to read. Let me see if I could increase the size here. All right. So what we'll do is we'll go through these Facebooks. And actually, one of the things that we could do is one of the strongest points through Facebook is obviously the advertising platform. And we'll go through that in a little while. But what I could actually do is show you guys an actual exercise on how we boost it through my other company, through my Up and Air, not Allstate, of course. But what I could show you is how we actually boost certain posts so that it gets a little bit more reach. And I could physically do that for you because I got to do it anyway. So at least I could do a hands-on experience here. In this instance, Facebook, some of the best practices for Facebooks is, again, the do's and the don'ts, right? The one thing you don't want to do is not have a call to action, right? There's and not creating a link, right? So a link that might forward those folks to your particular website. So if you're a business, obviously you want to I'm assuming that you would want to create your own website. And if you don't, it's a pretty huge mistake. I mean, because really what you want to do is build that credibility for your website, for your business, excuse me. So, and just looking at, again, putting yourself in the consumer's shoes. If you're looking for shoes, you're looking for some particular shoes, and you're looking for a website and you can't find it, it loses credibility, that particular business. So by you having a website alone, it builds your credibility way up. But it also gives you the opportunity then to be linking back and forth with Facebook and some of the other social media channels. In this instance, what we really strongly recommend every time we do a posting on here, one, we try not to make it too lengthy. We try to make it one sentence or two, and we want to make sure that it's linked somewhere. Facebook has come a long way. At one point, you used to be able to put a posting up there, and everybody that's your friend would see it. Problem with that is that now it's huge. I mean, there's too many people on there, so you got to look at it this way. If you're doing a posting, or somebody's doing a posting that's a friend of yours, that particular posting is continuously going down, right, down the filter, because people are posting above that, so it's just this posting it keeps going down, 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 down. So the percentage on that is 16%. Only 16% of the folks will actually see your posting. So that really stings because in reality, it's a way of Facebook to make money, right? So they got pretty savvy at it, and they said, how can we make a little bit more money? So it's through advertising, and what that is it's what's called boosting your post. So what you could do through your post is actually create a media package behind it that says, I want to reach so many folks, I want to reach this many more others, I want to basically reach the friends that like me and their friends. Or you could actually select a different target audience. And again, that's one of the exercises that I could actually do for you guys, and I could show you exactly how we would do that. But anyway, the best practices is, again, making the text a lot shorter. So if you look at the square there, I wouldn't read that. If you just think about your own experience. If you're looking at that on Facebook, one, there's no image. Two, it's extremely long, and it's telling you see more. And then, of course, the link's nowhere to be found. So at that point, I'm reading this and I'm just going to say, you know what, it's boring. I'm not going to look at this. So here's the do's, right? So now if you look at this one here, is again, there's an engaging question. You know, those always help, right? So in this case is, how do you keep calm on your daily commute? It's something that's really going to engage the consumer. You're going to get a ton of people. I mean, for us, it's tough just due to the fact that it's insurance, right? So insurance products could only be so much fun. But even then, you know, there's good ways to engage the consumer, and in this instance, it's through the image. You know, for me, it's if you're looking at the text, it might not be too much fun. But if you look at the guy's face, it's kind of funny, you know. So it gives you a little bit more. It makes you want to read the rest of it, and it's again one sentence. So it's really just asking you, you know, how do you keep calm? You know, one tip for the drive safe, to read it all to you guys. It says, one tip for drive safe to work week: don't engage in the rage. And of course, you see the gentleman's face, so it relates to that. But again, there has a question that's engaging the consumer. And if you look at this particular link, the reason it looks a little bit awkward is because it's actually connected through another third-party website called Bitly. Has anybody heard of Bitly? Bitly? Okay. So there's a way to create a Bitly account, right? What Bitly was used for originally is to reduce the size of the actual address that you want to place on here, right? So in this case, it probably would have said http://allstate.com/drive safety, right? So you're going on and on, you know, or even some numbers. Exactly. So in this case, what Bitly allows you to do is minimize the amount of text that goes on there. The reason it was created was to work well with Twitter. So Twitter gives you a limited amount of characters that you could utilize per tweet. So in this case, what they said, okay, well, if you have this long of a URL or that address, that's basically taking up your entire text or message. So in this case, by you reducing that through Bitly, it's giving you the opportunity to be able to place a little bit more text. So that was the original concept behind Bitly, but it does give you a good opportunity to measure, right? So through Bitly, what it'll allow you to do is go on there and look and see what articles or what postings that you actually created performed better. It'll not only could you use it through Twitter, but you could use it through Facebook. So you'll be able to see who actually went to Twitter versus Facebook versus Pinterest, etc. So it's a pretty cool way to measure. Yes. It's free. Yeah, that's the beauty of it. Bitly is free. Yeah, absolutely. And actually, here, let me show you really quick. Correct. Yeah, you could just basically, I mean, what you could do is if you click on sign in with Facebook, it'll sign in with your Facebook account. I mean, Facebook pretty much has all your details, all your information on there, so it'll sign up that way or through Twitter. In this case, I'm doing it because this is not my computer, so I don't want to sign up that way, but.
Oh, my gotcha.
You know, communications.
You have to get a
No. There we go. I put in the wrong password. Okay. So the way this would actually work is, let's say we go here. This is Dropbox, right? For whatever reason, right? No, bad example here. Allstate.com. What's that?
I said the film festival, is it over?
The Latino one? It is. It was actually in April.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So in this instance here, let's say we're in auto, and we want to make sure, if you guys look at this portion up here, this part of the URL, or this is what we call the URL, it says allstate.com/auto insurance, right? So let's say we want to drive traffic back to that particular page through Facebook. What I would do is copy this link, bring it to bit.ly.com, paste it, and what it does, it actually brings up this box here. And as you can see, One of the coolest things that Bitly did is that you could actually customize your link, the Bitly link now. So right now it'll say auto insurance and car insurance quotes. It's kind of reading, it captures the essence of that particular page. So what you could do is actually customize right here. It'll say bit.ly.com / here we could say auto or Allstate auto insurance. All right, and we say save. So now the Bitly is that. So now instead of doing this entire URL, www.allstate.com, what we'll be able to do is place on the posting bit.ly / Allstate Auto Insurance. I mean, you could even simplify it more, saying bit.ly / auto. You know, if you wanted to reduce that even more. But what the beauty of this, what it allows you to do is if you copy this link here, and we go to.
So basically what you're doing is it's taking the URL and turning that into text, but actually shortening the link. Is that
Exactly.
right?
That's all it's really doing is shortening
Yeah,
the link.
but it's taking the link and creating text so people know what they're linking to,
Correct.
and they're just shortening the amount of space.
Correct. And I'll show you a good example. Right now I'm logging into my Facebook account here. Oh, great. Here we go again. Allstate Latino. Okay. So here's the Allstate Latino Facebook page. And what we would do in this instance, very good. See a good example of where something's linked here. Okay, so here we go. Many of you might not be able to read this, but basically it's regarding renters. So what we're doing is we're trying to promote our renters insurance tool that we have out there. That's in Spanish. So right now what we're saying here is just, hey, my belongings are not worth too much, but really is find out how much your stuff is worth. And if you could see here, this is a bit.ly. So this actual URL, we did exactly what we did right now. We went to our bit.ly, which is our corporate account through bit.ly. We incorporated the URL that we wanted to paste on there, and it shortened it for us, which is here. But the beauty of this, again, is if you click on that, it actually is going to take you to the page that we really want to go to. And in this instance, it's actually taking you to the internal page for Facebook in Spanish that talks a little bit more about renters insurance, right? So again, it gives you that opportunity to reduce it, simplify the message with one sentence, reduce the URL. You can make it a little bit easier to remember. Again, going back to this particular instance where it says bit.ly / auto insurance, or you could create your own, as long as it's not too long. That defeats the whole purpose of actually doing the bit.ly. But creating something, doing something that's creative. And if you do that, that'll allow you the opportunity again to link back to this particular page. Every time you're doing your plans for social media, what you really want to do is to remember to send them back somewhere, right? I mean, because if they stay on Facebook, it's great. But the engagement, it could be done through questions. It could be done through polls that you could create through Facebook. But in reality, what you really want to do is where else do you want them to go, right? If you're selling something on your website, I would want to send them there, right? Because if I'm selling tickets for an event or anything like that, I want to send them exactly where we want them to purchase tickets. So that URL, I would send it to, create it on bit.ly and place it on the posting itself. Yes.
Okay. I am, besides being a new business owner in the making, I'm also an athlete. I'm a
Okay.
national gold medalist archer. I have a score of 299 out of 300. I'm looking to go to the Olympics in 2016.
Congratulations.
Sponsors for me and my age to travel outside of North America to compete. People have been telling me to go up and put a Facebook page up to send people up there to sponsor me.
Mhm.
So I'm looking for you to, maybe I can put something up, but they need to go to another site to actually sponsor me, or do they have programs where they can actually sponsor you at all?
Well, I mean, the way you got to look at Facebook is it's a platform to communicate with other folks, right? So whoever's there liking your page, your friends, if there's not really a way to, you could create what's called an application through Facebook. So there's certain ways that you could do that. it could be pretty expensive, and of course you need to know somebody that could actually, or somebody that does know that technology to be able to do that. There are third-party websites. One in particular that I use through my business is shoot, what is the name of it? Hold on one second. We used it just recently for. Oh my goodness, it'll come to me. But there's certain websites that actually it allows you to input information, and what it does, it creates an application for you. So what it'll do is you'll say, okay, I want it linked to my Facebook account. Here's my Facebook account, and it'll actually link it to that particular page. And I'm totally drawing a blank here, but let me see.
Like Eventbrite?
It's not necessarily Eventbrite, because Eventbrite's really giving you more of like ticket sales, and it's allowing you to create a particular event. But in this instance, it's allowing you to do more functionality. So a good example would be through my business, we create a pretty big festival here in Chicago called the Mariachi and Tequila Festival. So if you guys like tequila, you're welcome to come. It's November 8th. But basically what we did there is to promote that festival, we do a singing competition early in the year. So that singing competition, we created we did it in two different ways. One is we created a social media platform, Facebook in particular, where we did an application through this other site. And I'm really sorry that I'm trying to blank here, but what we did is, actually, here, give me Mariachi. I am doing, yeah, thank you. Yeah. Let's see. But it's basically what we did is we created an app where we allowed people to upload videos of them singing a particular song, and allowing people to vote for them. Believe it or not, we received like 3,000 new likes. So we got 3,000 new likes in a matter of 2 weeks. And it was just because what happened is you're touching these folks' hearts, right? They really want to sing, they really want to get some attention and some publicity. But what happens with the Latino community is that they're going to say, I want to tell my grandfather, my father, my mom, and everybody and their mother is voting. So in order for them to vote, they need to have a Facebook account, and they need to actually like our page. So, and that's another, it'll be a good example to find this. Let's see.
So how long was the video? 30 seconds?
Yeah, we usually try to do no more than 45 seconds. And in this case, it's Offerpop. Thank God I found it here. So Offerpop is it's one of those third-party vendors. Offerpop. Yeah, I'll go on there right now. Correct. There you go. Offer.
What does Offerpop do?
I will show you right now.
Okay.
Sorry, the connection's a little bit slow here, but it should pop up any second.
So my question was,
Yes.
when you pulling it up, once you got to Facebook and log on to your page,
Mm-hmm.
where did you what did you copy and post that link at? Because that's where, what I need to actually do is to post links on our website.
Okay.
That links to partners and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And that instantly it goes to your page. So once you get to Facebook, you log on to your page.
Mm-hmm.
And where did you actually, I need those steps again.
Okay, so here, I'll show you right now, as this is logging on anyway. So in this instance, what we did here is, if I wanted to create a new posting, what I would do is go open up your Facebook account. Either one, I would hope, images really, again, pictures say 1,000 words. And when it comes to Facebook, I strongly recommend you use images, especially those that you could see as the previous example. They kind of tell a story, right? In this instance, the same thing. Tires. I mean, it is a little bit boring, but like in this other one here, in this case, it kind of tells a story right there, right? They're moving. They're younger. That's probably about renters insurance. So you would want to make something that's really eye-catchy. But what I would do is you open your Facebook account. You obviously post here. What this will allow you to do is enter a video or images, etc. Right? So here is, I'd rather not do it through Facebook. Let me go through.
So you go there, and then you got a video or whatever, post there.
Mm-hmm.
You upload that, and then you go back and put the actual whatever.
Correct.
Image you want, plus then you copy
So here we go. So we go here. Let me just put a sample image here. So let's say we're talking about penguins. And right, so there's your image. And here's where you would want to say, penguins are cool. And that's where you would paste the bit.ly, or you could actually paste any URL, right? You could paste this one here that says Allstate Insurance, but my recommendation again is to make it a little bit more creative, and create, doing a bit.ly just allows you again to really look at some more, to really measure some of the traffic. So in this instance, what I'm doing is I just copied that link. I would go here, I would paste it, and then I would post, right? So now when we're talking about posting, one of the things that Facebook started doing is they started to come up with different ways to capitalize on their money. All right, how else could they make money? And one of the things that they started doing is limiting the amount of people that are actually looking at your posts. Again, 16% of the folks that are your friends or your likes for your business, only 16% are actually going to see your posting. So the way we usually do it at Allstate is we post once a day. We don't want to post more than that because then you get a lot of people unliking your page, right? Because now you just become annoying. But in this instance, what we like to do is we like to post once a day. We found that to be very effective. But we boost, right? So when it's convenient, and by that what I mean here is if you look at this particular post, this area here, it pops up for you there. Boost your post to reach more people, right? So what does that mean? If I click here,
That's a corporate account now, correct?
no, you could do it through your regular business as well. It'll give you the app. Trust me, they'll take your money too. Yes.
So I work for an organization that represents a lot of small businesses, and one thing that I typically see is that small businesses don't understand the difference between a business page and a personal page. When
Sure.
they create a personal page for their business.
Mm-hmm.
To explain
Yeah.
why
So,
you should use a business page.
well, it has to be linked, right? So the business page has to be linked to a personal page. So that particular page. So for example, my business page is linked to my personal account. Then what I will do is give other folks access to that particular page as administrators, meaning, if I would like to give you some access to my page, then I'm going to have, this particular person say, okay, this gentleman that's also a Facebook user, I would like him to be an admin for my page, and that person, and you could give them limited amount of access, right? That person could actually just post something but can't do absolutely nothing else, or you could give them complete admin rights and they can do whatever they want with the page.
Point.
Yes.
Point is, okay, like on,
I'll come right back to
when
that.
you come to media, like, it already started doing delays, they have delays with calls. Well, here, if somebody posts something on your personal account that you allow to post on it, and something that you don't want on there, it's gonna take a minute before you can get it off.
Mm-hmm.
First you gotta see it. So there's some admin way that you could have a delay where someone can post, but it can't actually go up on there until you get a chance to sanction it, or is it
Yep.
working?
No, of course. So you could schedule your posts. So one of the things that's actually what we do at Allstate is for a few reasons. One, we need to have everything legally approved. So everything that goes out there, including every single one of our postings, are legally approved. So what we do is we actually do postings a whole month ahead, send them to legal, legal approves them, we bring them back, and then we say, okay, here's how we're going to schedule them. Here's the calendar for every single day that we're going to use for this particular month. And then we actually have somebody that's scheduling these posts, right? So you're scheduling the posts by, before I even do the boost part, if you look at, in this particular example, so right here, it's a little icon that looks like a clock. If you click on that particular icon, it'll give you the date, right? So in this instance, let's say we wanted to schedule this for September 12th. And we want to say we want that to go out at 10 o'clock or 10:30. We could do that. So we place that on here, say schedule, and at 10:30 at that particular time it'll go out. So what you could do is, that's one way of obviously approving some of the stuff that you're working on, is doing it way in advance, making sure that it's approved by the management team, and then you're actually having somebody that's doing the postings. The second way is that you could actually have them scheduled. As they're scheduled, you could actually, nobody else will see them, they're still scheduled, but you as an admin can actually see those postings. So you'll be able to see what's scheduled read them through and say, no, we will need to go back and make an edit or whatever. And you can make those edits yourself. If you give them admin access, then they will be able to do that.
But you can have a delay on theirs too, so you can review it? Or what?
Yeah, so only one person's, and so regardless, if somebody else has access to your Facebook page, that particular person is going to be able to post. They could schedule, if you give them the access to, place a post on here, then they'll be able to schedule and do the exact same thing you're doing. So regardless, per post, you'll be able to view who scheduled it, what time is scheduled for. If you want to make edits, you can still do that. And just really quick to go back to your question. So we do have, all right, so basically through Facebook, we do have folks that are administering our page, but it has to be linked to a personal page. So in this instance, a really good example is I manage an agency, an ad agency that's based in San Diego. They're the ones that actually really manage a lot of our comments, and they really manage it on a day-to-day basis. So this particular agency has that admin access. So what they're doing is they created the page for us to be able to design it, and before Facebook changed their platform, it had other ways to make it look better, right? It had, like, you could actually design it a little bit different and make it a little bit more customized. So when we were doing that, that agency actually customized it for us. They went in there as admins and created the page. Of course, we have contracts, being Allstate, with them that they can't really modify absolutely anything without any of our permission. So, but regardless, it has to be linked to a personal account. So in this instance, they had to link it to somebody in that agency's account, right? So it has to be linked to a personal account regardless.
One of the people who presented here a couple weeks ago made a comment that regarding Facebook, usually about 6 fun, hello, how are you posts to 1 do this post. What are your thoughts about that? And I think one of the specifics was, I think it was Luminality's Pizza, just created a whole lot of pizza lovers, and were very successful in creating a following. And from that following, they were even able to start posting job offers, just because they just created a lot of friends who like pizza.
Sure.
But I thought that was a very interesting comment. Posts about 6 to 1, that ratio. That I remember that comment. What are your thoughts
Sure.
on that?
No, I agree. I think the more engaging that you could make your postings, the better. Again, utilizing questions are pretty good, but imagery is very important. If that image itself could really engage that consumer, even better, right? But no, I totally agree. I think by you saying we're offering a 20% discount. It's boring. Nobody's really going to go. It's very sales-like. Facebook's not really meant for selling more so than it is to engage the consumer. So when we're looking at metrics and within Allstate, the way we're measuring the social media components, in this case Facebook, is we're measuring through engagement. So we're not really saying, all right, so from this, how many people opened an account or how many people got insurance? Well, the way we're actually measuring this is saying what was the engagement ratio, right? And by that meaning is how many people liked it, how many people commented, how many people shared, right? So all of those things taken together is kind of what we're looking at. So when you're looking at Facebook and you have your own account, in this instance, let me see here. If you go to Insights, if you look at this particular tab up here, right? And click on here, leave this page. What this does is it actually gives you stats. Right, it gives you some of the stats, which don't look too great for us right now. We're 41.9% down from last week's, right, in terms of our engagement. So if you look at on this particular site, engagement,
And this is available to everybody?
it's available to everybody. As soon as you open your account, you have access to all of this. That's the beauty of Facebook. I mean, it really allows you to be able to focus on certain consumers immediately, right? Of course, what you want to do is, my recommendation, and the same thing we did for Allstate, regardless if it's Allstate and a bigger company, we had to first engage the consumer. We had to get likes, so we had to get people's eyeballs, right? So one of the things that we did is we actually started putting a lot of money behind it. To give you an idea, we started off, well, obviously from 0, but from last year, we went from 0 to 25,000 likes, but that's because we were spending about $1,000 per month, right? So we were spending about $1,000 per month just on the advertisement to get people to like our page. After that, it becomes very organic, because now people like it, and as you're sending more messages, those people are staying there. You know, I would say like roughly 95% of the folks that actually like your page are going to stay there. A lot of people don't unlike something, but in most cases, you know, some people do. In this case, like I said, 95% of the folks that actually liked our page stuck around with us. So that allows us now to send them messages without having to pay for it. However, we stood flat. So even though we had, you know, those folks that liked our page, we remained flat for about a year. So we didn't put any money behind it for a whole year. This last year, we put some money behind it. We're at 65,000 likes now. So, and again, spending about $1,000 per month. Yes. I'll go with you because I think you're
You're
first.
talking about the boost before, and you're saying anybody could pay for it.
Mhm.
You're saying that for all state business under $1,000 a month, it's $25,000.
Correct. And
So what would your business say Javier, which is a smaller business,
Mhm.
would you look at putting down and how many?
So, honestly, what I like to do is really try to make things very. Well, obviously, I always try to look at the opportunity to do something that's going to be free of charge. But regardless, even though we utilized for that particular concept that we did the uploading of videos, we received 3,000 likes, but we still had to pay Offerpop. The way they usually charge is if you're creating an app, they're charging you per the amount of likes you have. So if you range between 0 to 2,000 likes, you could do it for free. You could use their software for free. If you have, 200 likes to 1,000, for example, then they're charging you a fee for it. So we wound up paying like $300 for that particular instance because we did our campaign for 2 months. So for those 2 months, we wound up paying $300, which beats what we could probably have done on Facebook. So regardless, we created a pretty cool campaign. We created an application where people could upload, vote, and that allowed them to spread the word for us. And that gave us, again, about 3,000 new likes. But it was a very engaging post. You know, that was the whole thing behind it, is that it gives them the opportunity to like your page. You can request them to like your page, but by creating what's called a fan gate, meaning that if they are not your friends, this particular fan gate page will show up saying like, click here and like it, so you could continue on and vote for somebody, right?
Okay,
Yes.
so what's the name of it? Offer what?
Offerpop. That's one of them. That's only one of the sites that are out there. There's a few others. If you do a search on Google, just do searching for, applications for Facebook or something.
OFFER.
POP. Hmm? So that should be able to help you find a few of those types of applications. Offerpop is one of them, but there's a few others as well. And yes.
I know you mentioned that you try to only post once a day to
Mhm.
Facebook. Do you have a specific time that you like to post to amp up your engagement, or since you're boosting, it doesn't matter when you post?
Sure. We do still try to post early, so we try to do like 10 a.m. So normally that's when we post. Yes, Central Time. I'm sorry. So yeah, we normally try to do like 10 a.m. for some of our posts. We've gotten to the point where, since we work with other within our organization at Allstate, again, just marketing alone, there's 400 of us. So working with a lot of AORs, so other areas, you're working with the auto insurance guys, you're working with the home insurance guys, and everybody wants to post. So what we do is we create a calendar. And tell them, okay, so we have this particular posting that's going out today. There's been instances that it gets so overwhelming that we actually do 2 posts a day, but we really break them apart. So what we'll do is we'll do one in the morning at 10 a.m. and then we'll do one in the evening. And usually we'll do it like 7-ish, due to the reason that by then people are left work, they're probably on their cells already, on their personal computers. And if we were to do it like at 5 o'clock or prior to that, it kind of gets lost, or it loses the other message. And you were next.
Good morning, I'm Nicole Claude, and in 2012 I made 5% search on LinkedIn.
Mm-hmm.
What is the statistic behind all that?
Okay, so I'm sorry. So can you repeat the question? So you did 5% search?
Yeah, I was considered 5% search on LinkedIn.
Okay.
What are the statistics behind
I'm trying
it?
to. So.
I like it, but
Yeah. No, I mean, to be quite frank with you, I mean, so for boosting, what boosting allows you to do is it basically maintains your message on the top of your friends and their friends page, right? So on their wall, excuse me. So am I answering your question? Is that what you're asking me, or am I
no,
wrong?
because I did it without boosting.
Okay, you did it without boosting.
Without boosting.
Right, so-
The top
Okay.
Search, so that you know.
So for example, in this case, we have 65,000 people that like our page. One person might have 10 friends, one other person might have 500 friends, right? So that person that has 500 friends, our message comes up here, then 200-300 of their friends post in the next hour, our message just went down here. So that's one of the reasons that only 16% are actually viewing your message. What boosting allows you to do what it'll do is, since you're paying for it, it's bringing this message all the way up again. It'll say sponsored on there, that, you know, since you're basically paying for it, the message on your particular post will say sponsored. But what that'll allow to do is it'll bring it up, so people will see it constantly. So basically most of your friends will see it. Yeah. I'm sorry. Yes.
Pay for that, like, what came up was $200.
Yes. Let's go back up.
$10?
Yeah, you can. You totally can, absolutely. And
What do you get for that?
right. I'll show you. But the way they actually do it is per the amount of reach that you could get. So let me just go back. I'm wondering if I could do here. Just do the same example. All right. So if we go to the boost here. Okay, so if you look at the first part that says audience, is again people who like your page and their friends, people similar to people who like your page, or people choosing from targeting. Normally, the way you got to look at this is that if these people like your page, most likely their friends think alike, and they might like your page too, right? Or your product or whatever you're doing. So that's one option. However, if you're looking to build new traffic and you're saying, okay, I'm not really interested in the folks that like my page right now because they already like my page. My strategy behind this particular post is to get new likes. Then what I would do is select this.
What are you selecting?
Selecting people you choose from through targeting. And what that's going to allow you to do is, again, countries, of course, the U.S. You could actually put more stuff here, age range. You could put 18 plus, 18 to 20, right? Men, women. You could select a lot of pretty cool interests. So here, for example, interests. I could say McDonald's. So people, now if you notice the estimate of the folks that actually I would reach is for $200, I would actually reach 44,000 to 120,000 for that particular budget, right?
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
I was on my own personal Facebook account
Hmm?
last night, and I somehow or another saw something from Ford Motor.
Okay.
And I clicked on that little thing and said, okay, why am I seeing this?
That's why.
That's why I'm seeing this?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's two ways of advertising, right? So if you look at your Facebook page. Okay, let me finish with this one, and then we'll go back to that one. So in this particular case, we're looking at a $200 budget. If we were to go at $100, now your reach just went down a little bit. If you wanted to go to $1,000, now you're reaching that much more, right? And again, you could boost for one day. So you could say for one particular day, I want to spend $1,000. I could spend $10. And it's going to reach you that much. So it's, again, but keep in mind that this is 65,000 people. So a lot of times, and again, from those 15,000 and 39,000, depending on your business and depending on what the likes are, the one thing that is really, really cool about Facebook is that it really allows you to target well. So if you wanted to target men, you could say men, particular age range. If you want to say only those that like McDonald's, again, then you type here McDonald's, and that range should change right now. So that should say between 15 to 39. It's going to reduce quite a bit because now you're being very selective as to who you want to target. But that is the cool thing about Facebook, is that you could really, really pinpoint who you want to target, right? So what it'll do in this case is those folks' walls, your message will show up as a posting. Now, one thing to keep in mind when you're doing these postings is that Facebook created a new rule that it would only allow images that have 20% or less of text. If your image has more than 20% of text, they won't approve your advertisement. So try to make it as simple as possible. where let the image speak for itself. You know, maybe put a logo on there if you want, and then put the rest on the actual text, on the message. And now, going back to your point, so in this case, you know, again, there's more options here to boost. Obviously, here's the credit card and all the other information that we could utilize. But it gives you quite a bit of opportunities. You know, people similar to people who like your page. That's just folks that are very similar to those demographics and the folks that like your page. And let me go right back to yours. So just let me go back to this one. And okay, so if you look on the left-hand side here, well, let me see here. Well, they actually did change this quite a bit. Let me go to my personal page. Okay, so here's my personal page on Facebook. So on the right-hand side, again, put yourself in your own personal experience when you're doing social media. How many times have you clicked on one of these areas? Probably not, right? It's there. I mean, if it's eye-catchy, it might get your attention and you might click on it. But if you really think about it, how many times have you really clicked on it? Probably none, right? I don't, that's for sure. But this sure as hell stands out, right? That Zoom. And then it's right on your wall. So it's a way for Facebook to say it looks very natural. It's a much more natural way of doing your postings, because what they're doing is exactly what we discussed. Personally, I think that's a little bit too much text, but regardless, it's still a little bit of text. Again, here is their bit.ly per se, and again, their image, right? So I don't think this one, yeah, if you read right here, this area right here, it says sponsored. That means they actually boosted it. And the reason it's showing up all the way on top is because they boosted it, right? So other people that are part of their target audience are also seeing it in that particular in that space right there on the top.
How long does it stay at the top of the page?
It depends on how long your campaign goes. Remember how it's set 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. So let's say you wanted to sponsor it again or create that boost for a month, then it'll probably do that for a month. Correct. You got to keep in mind what it's doing. It's saying here's the approximate reach that you're going to get. So let's say it says your approximate reach for this particular boost is going to be 4,000 people. Then what Facebook is doing is their goal is to reach those 4,000 people, meaning that they could tell that I went here and said, okay, here's an impression. Just the simple fact that I went here and I kind of stopped there, they're looking at that as an impression, meaning somebody looked at it, right? So if you're so that's one person out of the 4,000. So as soon as that hits that 4,000, boom, they're done. All right, so let's see. Go back to the presentation. And at any point, let me know if you guys want to go back into it. I'd rather do a lot of the hands-on kind of work because I think it's a little bit more beneficial. But yes.
There was this company called Lobby down Doodle. It was a children's clothing company. They were featured in magazine. And the woman, she was selling children's clothes and she was selling it on Facebook. So my question is, how did you actually sell items on Facebook?
You know, again, for us, you know, as an insurance company, we try not to make it as advertorial, you could say, of a type of messages. We don't want to make it an advertising campaign. We do, of course, utilize a lot of them to, you know, place our products and stuff like that. But, I mean, overall, we still are an insurance company and we want to sell insurance. But at the same time, you kind of want to focus a lot of your Facebook into engagement, right? Into how, I mean, if you're selling tickets, if you're selling a particular product, then yeah, maybe I would make it a little bit more engaging, meaning, you know, if you're selling hair salon products, maybe have somebody create a video that's how they're utilizing your product to create, you know, a particular hairstyle. You know, that would catch my attention a little bit more. And then placing a bit.ly link that's going to go back to your webpage with that particular product. So something like that works a lot better than just placing, hey, get 20% off on this product. But yeah, I mean, you could do that. I mean, but it's, again, you're still going to have to utilize a different platform to sell, right? Because through Facebook, you can't really say, okay, you know, enter your credit card here and purchase this product, you're going to have to go somewhere else to do that. So what they're doing is they're probably just creating links to go to a different page where you could actually do that. So, yes.
I just like to make sure I understood you, so you can create a link on Facebook just to go to your page, that you can get on your personal page.
Yes, correct, absolutely. Yeah, you could create a particular any link you want to. You know, you'll be able to place on the Facebook page.
So on my personal page,
Mhm.
you sell insurance, I will put a link to your page or to your company, and then it'll link to that, and phone number and all that information will be listed there for person's interest, but not necessarily saying, oh, auto prices start at $29.99. Call for a quote.
Correct. Right. I mean, we normally try to stay away from that. What we'll try to do is usually take them to some other internal page. If we're trying to capitalize, of course, on getting new people to get insurance, what we'll try to do is get them to our quoting tool. And the way we do that is we actually create, again, that bit.ly for that particular link that goes into that tool. But we'll say here, hey, check out the easiest way to get a quote online. And then have the link, and it takes them right to the tool.
And if you're doing tickets for the sponsorship or some kind of fundraiser, things
Mhm.
like that, put the link into, put the video in there, the person that you're singing, or you say, if you want to sell tickets per event,
Mhm.
and then, a little video of that, plus that, link that way you can get the ticket sales, so therefore you're not actually putting price per ticket. You're
Correct.
actually doing it on Facebook.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's easier and it's more efficient to do something that has that's going to catch their attention, that's going to engage them without really making it a selling point. I'll give you a really good example. So we went to Mexico City to do the television spots and a lot of social media spots for the Mariachi and Tequila Festival. So one of the things that we did is we went to this area called Plaza Garibaldi. So what happens at Plaza Garibaldi is there's a lot of tequila there, but there's also, it's a plaza where a lot of mariachis, they start going, as a crowd you could walk in and there's like 300 different mariachis, you could just pick one. And so what we did is we decided to go there, start filming a lot of that, right? And say, okay, let's go to this restaurant and let's start filming a lot of the folks and asking them, how do you drink your tequila? Right? We didn't want to say, purchase tickets now to go on sale. Blah, blah, blah. What we wanted to do is we're creating a social media piece that's saying we're literally recording everybody. We got really lucky, and a lot of different, a diverse amount of folks came to that place. So we had, even though we were in Mexico City, we had some folks from Arizona that came in, a couple of folks from Spain, a couple of folks from Colombia. So it was really cool because we were able to get a variety of the Latino market that's saying how they drink their tequila, right? So they were, so how do you drink it? Oh, like it straight. Oh, how do you like? And then luckily we had a girl there that was serenading her guy, and so the mariachi guy is playing in the background, and she's going singing galore to her boyfriend. That was awesome. So now what we're doing is we videotaped them. We're gonna condense that video into different little segments saying, I like my tequila this way, I like my tequila this way, I like it this way. What we're trying to do is make their mouths water, right? We're trying to say, at the end we're gonna have that call to action that's gonna say, visit the Mariachi Tequila Festival, such and such date. Have the link for that.
Look forward to it.
Absolutely. Yeah, and now you're engaging them, right?
Yeah.
Because what are they doing? They just stood there for a whole minute to look at your video, and at the end they're gonna say, I kind of want to check this out. Click, and they're gonna go back to your page. Right. Correct. Right. So pretty cool stuff. And for Allstate, one of the things that we did that was pretty cool is we were targeting the female gender, and what we wanted to do is how do we do that? So what we started doing is creating videos that say, how do you fix your tire? How do you fix your tire?
Tyler?
Mm-hmm.
Got a movie I'm working on with it.
So basically, it was literally a video that we had a woman fixing her tire, step by step. You take this out, you race your car, you do this, you do that. So it was a safety tip, but what that allowed us to do is not necessarily say, here, purchase insurance. It gave us a good way to engage with them and you get their attention, and in their back of their minds saying, wow, that was really cool of Allstate. They gave us a really cool tip. Yes.
Is there a way to give incentives to customers who check in at your location?
To give what? I'm sorry.
Some type of incentive? Like
Incentive?
a discount the next time you come, just for them checking in?
You know, there's different ways to do it. I mean, a lot of different, like maybe I would check with those other third-party vendors with the apps. So maybe like Offerpop might have something similar to that. Let me check if they actually logged me in already, because that would be cool to show you guys. I guess it didn't. There we go. So, okay, so just for the record, this particular campaign is really not just focused on legs. It was actually Hot Legs as a brand for some type of body lotion that this company utilizes. But that's a good example. We actually, what we did is we created this campaign. Let me see if I could, if it could show it. All right, but anyway, so if you go to Offerpop, for example, here's the different types of campaigns that you could utilize, right? So here's a photo contest, referral. So going to your point, you know, if you click on this referral one, here's what it would do. You basically go on here, you select your Facebook or enter your Facebook page here, create the headline, you know, you enter your particular image, and they tell you what the image sizing should be. So it says 810 pixels wide and up to 300 pixels tall, right? So as long as you could create that image on Photoshop, whatever program you're utilizing, you could actually upload it on here.
What's the size again?
It's 810 by 300. Right, so here's what it's doing. It's actually giving you the creative. You could customize, you know, what you want people, what you want to collect from people, right? Select custom, you know, first name, last name, city, zip code, gender, etc. You know, for my case, what I like to collect from here is emails, because that's our bread and butter, right? For me, it's when we're doing email marketing campaigns, we want to send it to as many people as we like. So every time we go here, we want to make sure that we capitalize on getting that particular data, getting their emails.
You get email and then you get gender and name.
Yep, whatever you select on this particular page, that's available. So like street address, city, state, mobile.
If you deal with special projects for women and men, would probably want to
Correct.
have that on there. Okay.
So in this instance, let me just show you, if I go all the way down here, select the page to preview. That's we're getting no fans. Okay. So this is after they sign up. Apparently they... Okay. So this is kind of what the people are looking for. Sign up for a chance to win 2 tickets to show a Lincoln Center. I mean, this is just an example. Obviously, you could create your particular image to be much more creative than this. But again, you know, you could utilize third-party services to do something like that. Because I mean, the most that you're going to be able to do on Facebook is create the post, right? You're going to be able to say, here's what we could do. Yeah, we're giving, or maybe what you could do is say something to the effect of, use this particular code. You know, call us, use this particular code to get another 20% off. Or have your friends call us and get another 20% off or something like that. I mean, because all you're really doing on Facebook is just posting. So in this case, again, Offerpop just gives you, it's another third-party vendor that once you create this, it literally creates a tab for you. It connects directly with your Facebook page, and it actually creates a tab. And by that I mean, let me go to my page now. Okay, so let's see, notifications.
Have you hit your festival, by the way?
No, November.
Festival what?
November 8th. So, okay, let's see, more. So in this particular case, when people click on more, your events would go either one or here. So here's the Mariachi Voice Contest one that we did. You know, obviously here, it's over with, so it's saying Offerpop. You know, it's a done deal. But basically, all your stuff would be shown here. You know, giveaways. You could create it as any one of these tabs. And what Offerpop would do is it's communicating with your Facebook page, so it's creating that tab for you already. So as soon as it's basically making it very simple for you to enter all this information, enter all the data, the imagery, etc., to make it look pretty, and then they bring it on here for you. So it's a pretty simple way to do it. Instead of having you go out there and paying somebody that really knows technology to build it for you, because that's going to cost you an arm and a leg. So, yes.
So, you said having a website really adds credibility
Mhm.
for small business. There's, like you said, the cost of maintaining the website and all that.
Mm-hmm.
What's your feeling on having social media kind of take the place?
Kind of replacing it.
Yeah.
I guess it really depends on what you're doing with your business. The way you got to look at that is, again, going back to Allstate. We're looking at allstate.com as a source of information, right? So we're looking at people coming into to Allstate to be able to get a quote online, to use some of our tools, but also to get information on our products and services. Where with Facebook, we're really utilizing it to engage. We're utilizing it to engage really heavily with the consumer by just talking about certain safety tips. We created a blog. So with the Allstate blog, what we do is we utilize a lot of that content here because it's a little bit more on the creative end. And it would just give you things like, did you know that, by having auto insurance, if your dog bites somebody else in your house, you're covered? Little things like that are going to be pretty, kind of clever, but it gives you, it makes you want to read a little bit more. But again, it's informative versus engaging the consumer. So I think you got to look at it that way. I mean, if you could, I have a friend of mine that sells pianos, and what he does, a lot of companies, even owners of pianos that don't want to move their own pianos because it's a big pain in the butt, they actually just give it to him. They'll say, just take the piano and it's yours, because they just want to get rid of it. So what he'll do is he'll take it, he'll refurbish it and sell it for like $3,000, but he's selling it to people from out of the country. So the way he's actually selling his products strictly through Facebook. He does not have a web page, but he's communicating with folks in different countries, so that are actually coming in with purchasing like 20, 30 pianos at a time. So I guess it all depends on your product and what you're doing with it. But it could, but I would recommend having both.
Okay, so that brings a question to mind. Okay, since you are focused on Hispanic market,
Mm-hmm.
Latino market.
Sure.
On your page, is it someplace you could click on if you want to read it all in Spanish, or is it all English?
There is. We actually, going back. So we started researching that a little bit more. 1% or less of the folks that were visiting our page were actually clicking on that button that said Spanish. So we kind of go by what's, when I was working at Career Builder and helping with their strategies, one of the things that we learned is that we went by what's called the Toyota principle. And the Toyota principle. So what Toyota does is actually in their vehicles as well, is that they'll say, if nobody's utilizing this space, then let's get rid of it and put something that's useful. And so we try to do the same thing, right? So instead of having that button that said Espanol on there that not even 1% of the people were clicking on, we removed it and put social media icons on it.
Okay, now let me ask a question. Could you, if you wanted to free that space up and still get that access,
Mm-hmm.
could you have a link that had something to go somewhere else? Because I'm thinking about if I want to have international sort of presence and reach people, not everybody, but several different foreign languages, plus
Mm-hmm.
people that might not be able to, plus having something for somebody who might not be able to see.
Okay.
Okay, in other words, I can talk to,
Mhm.
to the computer.
Sure.
Okay, and then it could go someplace, and it could also have maybe somebody doing whatever you see there. I don't know, I'm just trying to think of accessibility.
Sure.
Portability.
Believe it or not, there's actually a lot of things you could do. I mean, now you're going a little bit out of the realms of social media, but if you're looking at websites, our websites, have a lot of tags behind them, meaning that if, in this particular case, for example, if you look at that image that's in our background there, we might have tagged that as Chicago skyline, blah, blah, blah. So if somebody that has their system set up, let's say they're blind, or 50% have 50% vision, if they actually go to their computer's reading to them what's on there, so their computer might actually say the top portion has a skyline of the Chicago skyline image. So stuff like that. No, I mean it all depends on who's building your system. I mean or your website. You just really have to know what to tell them, how to direct them to do it, right? Because they're going to build you something. They're going to build you basically a skeleton, and it's your job to then say, I want that to be tagged with these particular keywords. I want this to be this and this, etc. So.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Are we Done. Okay. Any? Yes.
I had a question. You said you can utilize Facebook to take polls.
Mm-hmm.
How do you do that?
Here, sure.
I'm sorry, what were you asking?
Feel, asking questions.
That's a great question.
What are you clicking on?
I'm actually looking at this particular, just how to add photos and stuff like this. Let me see. And upload. They might have changed it. There used to be an option for that. Let's see here. Let me go to the Facebook one. It might just be in the settings. Page post. I'll tell you what I could do. I could look into it for you, and if you want to contact me through email, and I'll get that answer for you. Because they did change things around. They used to have an icon where you could actually when you're creating your posting, you could ask your question, and then what it would create once people say like, you could create like A, B, and C, and and if people liked A, it will show you the bar moving, or B if they click C or whatever. But in this instance, for some reason, I can't find it. But it might just be on the settings that allows polls to take place too.
2 questions.
Yeah, sure.
The piano guy who's been using Facebook, what is he using to get the money? Is he doing like PayPal?
And here,
Then
let me.
I have a question on the group.
Sure. Let me see if I can find him here.
And how is that money translated to?
Well, I'm sure what he's trying to do is, there's obviously his business is doing it. He's probably dealing with them directly, so he's probably either getting paid through credit card or check or some other way of
You don't
funds.
see it on the.
Yeah, but I'm not seeing it here.
So he would actually link that to this actual page where it has the actual setup for that business to sell pianos, and then all your pricing and everything would be there.
Right. You could also create like
That, right?
PayPal. You could
Yeah,
create.
so he would put a link in there to the page.
Exactly.
Where the sales would take place. And
Correct.
then you would place your order, customize phone number, and
Correct.
all that on a separate website because we have that link in there.
That's correct.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
And then second question
Mhm.
is on a group, and another technically business, but if you have a group and it's closed, the outside world is not supposed to see what you post, right?
If you have a group,
Yeah.
um,
So you're just talking to 30 people within your Facebook page.
it kind of works almost hand in hand with like the like feature.
They can see
It's if they're in your group, they're gonna see it. If they're not, then they won't.
Okay.
Right. So, any other questions?
Thank you.
Yes.
How far in advance of opening do you think that the Facebook page should start engaging people so that you have a following?
Honestly, what I would do is if you have already your business established, I would wait until you at least have your business established, you're ready to really sell, and because if now you're going to go crazy. You're going back and forth trying to maintain this particular page, and then you're really trying to manage this, and you have nobody really maintaining this page. And really with social media, you need a lot of maintenance behind it. If I could show you some of the comments that we had on the particular event that we're working on right now, it went crazy. It kind of backfired on us. We thought we contracted another gentleman that was going to be part of the event that we thought was going to work out really well. So we put him as the headliner, and people went nuts on us. They started placing really crazy comments. So you really have to have somebody that's maintaining that page constantly. Because at that point, people got nasty. They were just saying some really bad stuff. So we had to ban a few folks from the page, and we had to actually hide the comments. So it's so you definitely need to maintain that page quite often.
Talking about maintaining, what kind of, as a small business, a startup small business, what type of time should you look to put to developing it and maintaining a web page?
Sure.
I mean,
Well,
not
a Facebook page. Honestly, if you're a small business and you're getting
One person,
Yeah, let's say you have like 2 to 5,000, 10,000 likes even. Honestly, if you go on there once a day, that's good enough. I mean, the more the better, of course. But if you went once or twice a day to just review, set yourself a schedule. Hey, 2 o'clock, we're going to review all the postings, make sure anybody's comments on certain things. That should give you a good response.
No more than an hour, right?
Yeah, it shouldn't last you that long, unless they're really ticked off at you.
They used to have an icon to increase your audience, and I noticed that's been gone. I was in the house for the last.
So that's kind of like your boosting.
Yes, but they removed that. That was very favorable.
No, boosting's still on there. That's what we were discussing earlier.
Yeah,
So
but you have to pay for boosting.
correct.
Oh, so they removed it for boosting.
Yeah. So basically, what they're doing is now, if you really want everybody to see it, then you got to pay for it.
Ah.
Yeah, trust me, a lot of companies are not too happy with Facebook right now.
Oh.
Yeah. We're good? Okay. Last question.
Do you delete a comment if someone doesn't like, your business and say, oh, they just horrible, you just
Yeah.
delete that?
Yeah, honestly, what I would recommend is this, is the whole purpose behind Facebook is to make it as natural as possible, right? To have that natural conversation with that consumer. So what you really want to do is, if somebody says Allstate sucks, then we ask them why. Why do you say that? Why would you think that? How can we help you? How can we help you change your mind? And believe it or not, we've had a couple of instances where people came back and said, I did this, I posted this, Allstate came back and they really assisted me. Thanks a lot, that was really cool. So now it became, it went from negative to a positive. And that's actually even more natural, and that gives you a little bit more credibility even. So depending on the message, if they get really crazy and vulgar, of course, you want to probably delete them and ban them from your page, which you could do. So, right. Well, thank you everybody, and hopefully it was useful.